what's going on today down in Wowwy'z workshop, where we use art each day to chase the blues away. Down in Wowwy'z workshop, brought to you by Two Brothers, One Vision.
Welcome back, everybody, and if you're new, welcome home to Wowwy'z workshop. Today, folks, I'm going to share with you something that means a lot to me. This collaboration with my brother. This is, if you want to see original Two Brothers, One Vision artwork, this is the most grandest display we have to date of anything that we've created together. It's quite the story, so please bear with me, because it's going to take a while. Now, walking my dog Poppy, God bless her little soul, she gets me up and going every day. Well, one day we passed this house, and there was a stump sitting out there, kind of in the front yard, but it was by this signpost, so it was like, do you take it? It's kind of a sketchy situation. You don't know. We have free piles out here, so we didn't know if it was out for it to be taken, and I didn't feel right about taking it, so I just watched it. And every day we walked, and I watched it, and I watched it some more. And Poppy loved it because she got extra long walks because it was on the long walk. So finally one day, the gentleman was out front, and I'm standing there with my dog. He probably thinks I'm stalking the family. And I finally got to ask if I could use that stump for my artwork. And he looked at me and said, well, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, it looks like a little door. And he looked at it. He looked at me, kind of eyeing me up and down. He said, I always thought somebody could carve a face in there. And I said, yeah, it kind of looks like a robe, eh? And we looked at it. And I said, well, I will try, if you let me. And I said, I'll bring you back a picture of what it turns into. How's that for a trade? And he smiled and he said, all right, you can have her. And so here I am, happy as can be, with Poppy on my little leash there, trucking down the road with my stump. That was until I saw that there was a bug on me because it was a termite. Because, well, it was full of termites. So we got it home, and I began chipping away. And this is before I was into power carving like I am now. We didn't have all of our cuts all in saber-tooth bits and stuff that we can go. I had a little Dremel with a couple of weird little cutters, carbide cutters, and I had chisel and a hammer. And so I sat there, and I chipped away, and I chipped away, and I chipped away, and I had to kill the termites they came out and fell out, and I'm battling with them. Spent the most of the summer chipping away on this thing to get it all out. I didn't know how far I had to go in because I still thought maybe I'd carve a face into it as per the wishes of the original owner. But that wasn't going to happen. And I was just hoping that there was going to be enough of an existing good wood that I could make something out of it because it looked like a little cave. I knew I was going to light it up somehow. I knew some things deep inside. I just didn't know how we were going to get there. So I worked on it, cleaned it up, sanded it, got rid of all the bad stuff. And then we got to see what we were working with and started to plan the making of the door. And that's when my brother's help came into the situation. And frankly, that's when the magic starts. Now, my brother Darren has a very, very unique art style that he came up with it all on his own years ago. When he was working jobs, he would collect copper wire and he would recycle that wire with his art. And he developed this weaving technique, but yet it's not a technique because there are no patterns or there is no set routine. This is chaos, and in the end becomes beauty. And this is something that I really, really, truly love about it. And I've always loved it. And he creates lanterns and these creations all woven together. And they're just magical. And they're so unique. And they take so much time. Now, I like to say that this is the slowest way to fill in a space known to man. Because you don't start these art projects thinking I'm going to bang off 5 of these, sell them at the art show. No, these are works of a lifetime. It takes so long that it makes absolutely no sense why anybody would do it. But that's part of the magic. That's part of what makes these pieces so precious, is they take so much time and so much work gets covered up and nobody ever sees it. It's almost like some kind of ancient Japanese method of where the love invested is never acknowledged. But yet that makes it magical. You know what I'm saying? So my brother and I, he's slowly over the years taught me how to do some of this. But yet there's nothing to teach because there is no set patterns and there is no set routine. So teaching me was more of a trial by error over years and years of trying and working with him. I slowly developed my own style of rapping, and we can rap together and we can work together, but you can always tell which one is which. And that's just part of it, is that every person has their own specific shine. And that too makes this art form so much more special. Now, we knew that this was going to be a magical light piece, so we chose the beachglass, pieces that we had been treasuring and tucked away forever. We chose those pieces, and then each piece individually was wrapped. And some of those took a couple of weeks, 3 weeks to finish just the piece of glass. And then we positioned them kind of like a stained glass window, and but knowing that we were going to have to wrap in all of the existing spaces around. This took months and months, and months became a year, and we just kept on working on it. All along, we were carving out the track that this door would slide into and fit snug into. And it was this weird kind of edge that was under the lip of the stump, and it carved out actually easily like it wanted to. And then we would slide the door in and out from the bottom up, and it could not pop out. It slid in there snug, like it was meant to be. And so we worked on it, and we wrapped some more. And I would pass it to Darren, and he would work on it for a month or so, and then he'd pass it over to me, so that 2 areas didn't become too divided. It all blended together, and we wrapped and we wrapped and we wrapped some more. And we wrapped some more. I can't explain how heavy and beautiful and crazy this thing is to hold and touch, because that copper, it absorbs the energy and it absorbs power. It is a crazy, crazy material, and it's also why my brother loves this material so much. And finally, when we felt the weaving portion was done, we began work on the base. And the lighting portion of it, the socket, we did the whole interior of the cave in gold leaf, so it would really reflect all the light. We used old antique furniture feet from an old couch, I believe, and we upcycled them into the little stumpy feet for the entrance. And then it was time. It was time for the grand finale. And this picture, folks, is the very first time it was lit up. in my brother's little workshop. This picture means a lot to us. And that was the first time we saw all of the glass light up like that. And it sure was a crazy feeling, let me tell you. It brought tears to our eyes. It took so long. So much love. It's just hard to convey. This piece is just so special to us. Just so special. And the next little part was it needed a floor mat. I made a comment that I didn't really like the bottom, how much light came from underneath it. So my old brother, he found this little piece of leather, and he burned our logo into it for the little floor mat. And the leather didn't want to lay flat, so he wove some copper wire in around the edge so that it would sit flat. Oh, my bro, man, let me tell you. And here, folks, well, here's the grand finale when it first made it home and lit up. And that's the story of the entrance. Darren and I have created a world, and that world needed a gateway, and this is what we made together. Thank you for watching, everybody. You've witnessed a piece of our souls. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Much love, everybody. And remember, there is no YouTube without you. Take care.